Hello, YouTube. Today is the first ever true gameplay video, and I'm gonna start it off with Jurassic World Evolution 2 because Jurassic World Evolution 3 got announced maybe a week or two ago at this point, probably like a week ago. And I'm super excited for it, so I thought as a send off to Jurassic World Evolution 2, I might as well make a sandbox park because I love making sandbox parks and yeah, I just get to do what I want to do. So I was thinking of doing just Isla Nublar, probably 1993 because it has an interesting map layout. I was thinking of doing Arizona because I really do like the desert aesthetic, or where is it, San Diego. I really do like these, but the more I thought about it, um, there's not as much you can do with the desert. There isn't really forest you can place in, which is nice sometimes, but other times I do want forest. And like, yeah, you can put down the palm trees, but really, if I want to make my own Jurassic Park, it's got to be Nublar. All right, I've made my settings. It's basically just dinosaurs aren't going to break out, unlimited power, instant buildings, that sort of stuff. Because I really just want to make the park and make it look cool. I put no dislikes on species cohabitation because it's kind of weird that you can't have like a ceratopsian with a stegosaurid, but whatever. But yeah, let's start. So I think my plans for this park are just getting in or at least let's start with the video. So my plan for the video is I'll start off with some basic building, my uh, basic structure layout, and then I will get to actually building, which I'll probably do a speed build, and then at the end I'll come back and show everything. So my idea is, I mean, with the waterfall right here, I want to have the entrance here into a monorail, which will be the only like Jurassic World building, and then the monorail will come down. We'll have most of the park will be here. Monorail will also come down here. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do here. I might do more of like a resorty area, like at the basin, maybe have like an aviary or a lagoon, or maybe some like calmer enclosures. This will be more like the hotel uh, area, and then you would take the monorail back up and then visit the main park. All right, so now that we enter the speed build, I'm going to do a quick voiceover for just my thought process. I wanted to do the arrival point next to the um, waterfall. I think 1993 Isla Nublar, like the map has like a really good map layout with this like sort of entrance area, which you can do a lot of things with. I usually do an entrance area, but I also like the idea of doing like an aviary or something back here. I think it's just a really like you can do a lot with it. But my idea for this, even though I'm not going to have like injuries or any reason for ranger stations or anything, I have like infinite feeders, infinite power, um, all that sort of stuff. I do just want to make like a backstage area just for a bit more added realism. This is supposed to be my take on what I would have done if I made a Jurassic Park. So this is like, I'm just trying to make it a bit more realistic, sort of what you'd expect from a real Jurassic Park, rather than just a simple recreation of the old Jurassic Park. I'm not sure if I'm going to do every species from the original Jurassic Park. I might, just because I don't think it's too many. Having T-Rex, Triceratops, Para, that sort of stuff. And then more like niche ones that you don't expect, like Metriacanthosaurus and Stegosaurus. I'm not sure if Metriacanthosaurus was actually confirmed to be in Jurassic Park. I know when Nedry's stealing the DNA, Metriacanthosaurus is there, but I'm not sure if that confirms it in the park. There's also like Saherodactylus and Maiasaura were in the book, but not in the movie. So there's a lot. There's a lot of species I could add, but I don't think I'll add all of them. I'm not sure yet though. Also, as you can see, there's a day and night cycle. I eventually turn this off because the night becomes annoying and I don't like building in it. So it's just day for now. I might change that in the future when doing like cinematics or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, for now it's daytime forever. Here I'm just planning out my general idea. I realized I forgot to make a hatchery, so I have to make a hatchery. Yeah, I end up making a hatchery here, which this ends up being a backstage area that I'm actually very proud of. I really like it. I like doing these little like pens around the hatchery, pretending like, that's like the research facility where they watch the animals as they grow up. When we get actual babies in Jurassic World Evolution 3, this might be even better. I know there's also going to be petting zoos. Maybe I can make something with that. I'm not sure. It'd be interesting if petting zoos could include carnivores to any degree. I know like they probably aren't, but it'd be weird to have a not weird, but I think it'd be fun to have like, I don't know, maybe like a baby. I don't know. You definitely couldn't do that. They're probably not going to do it with carnivores just because that'd probably be a bit of a liability having like a baby Allosaurus around a bunch of kids that they can touch, because there would be a lot of lost fingers. But I think it'd be kind of cool, but they're probably not. Maybe it'll be like a setting in Sandbox. Or maybe if they have like the docile trait, if that stays in the game, they'll do that. Right here, I originally wanted this to be like a little Compy or Stegosaurus enclosure. I like doing these sort of things in little areas like that. But then, eventually, as you'll see, as I'm creating it, the feeder takes away a lot of trees, which is annoying. And then you can't really see the visitor center, which is sort of a focal point. So, like of this area of the park. So I just take it out. In a few seconds, you'll see me like looking at it and being like, oh, yeah, like right here, I'm like, damn, like you can't see it. So I end up scrapping this whole thing. But yeah, so I guess now's good as time as any to talk about my ideas for the park. So my main idea is that I want this like entrance area to be like Jurassic themed, because Jurassic Park, you want your Jurassic species, classic Jurassic species. So I create 2 enclosures in this episode. One is an aviary, one is an actual like proper enclosure, and all species are Jurassic. So this first area will be Jurassic themed, and I think the next episode I'll do 2 more Jurassic species, maybe a 3rd Jurassic species. I'm not entirely sure, but then after that I'll venture more into Cretaceous, because let's be real, there's no Triassic species. There's Coelophysis, and Lystrosaurus is technically, it's Triassic and Permian, so I don't know. You could say it. I don't know. I like Lystrosaurus. The Lystrosaurus in this game is, and just like in the films, is okay, but whatever. Anyways, this part is the backstage part. I love like making my backstage parts hidden, like heavily forested. I love putting the big Jurassic Park 3 fences in to like hide everything. The forest especially just fully hides it, and it makes it really immersive. I put a lot of decorations like the raptor paddock, outposts, cameras, stuff like that, trying to make it seem a lot more realistic. I want this area to be like, oh, this is where the scientists like go and do their stuff. I might put a staff room here. I'm not entirely sure yet. But yeah, this is supposed to be like the more hidden part of the park. Path to the raptor paddock, little raptor sign I put in a second. Yeah. I think this backstage is probably the strongest aspect of the park. So far at least. I don't know. I like my enclosures, but I end up making them like, I mean, one of them is just like a 1-block aviary, so you can't do much with it. And then the other is relatively massive, so I might add some more variety to it. I'm not entirely sure yet. I think here is when I turn off the day-night cycle. I forget, honestly. Oh no, it's after this, I think. Yeah, so this is the aviary spot. This will be for the 2 Jurassic pterosaurs, Dimorphodon and Jeholopterus. Again, I do this curvy path when it's like a behind the stage or behind the scenes thing, because I think it makes more sense. If you've ever been behind the scenes at like a zoo or something, it's very much so like not clean and tidy. It's usually just like things strewn about, kind of awkwardly placed. So yeah, I sort of tried to emulate that with, there isn't much backstage to the aviary, it's just sort of a path, but yeah. Just thinking about what pterosaurs I want to put in, eventually I just choose. Overall, I like most of the pterosaurs in the game. There are a few I don't like, namely Barbarodactylus and Tapahara, which is tragic because I love both of those species. Like, in real life, their designs in the game are just kind of icky, in my opinion. With Tapahara, its legs are like way too long, and its wing membrane like bends weird when it flies. I just don't really like it. And then Barbardactylus. I know this is gonna sound like such a realism, like I'm gonna sound like such a realism like stinker, but in real life, Barbardactylus was a nyctosaurid pterosaur, or nyctosaurine. I honestly forget. I'm sorry, but that meant that they were related to Pteranodon, but uniquely, the clade is known for not having hands. They just sort of had wings with nubs, and I think that's really cool, and it makes along with their like funky head crests makes them so cool. And then this game just gave them hands, and they just look like any other pterosaur, kind of, which is kind of sad. I wish Barbardactylus had its more unique aspects from real life, because they, especially with a lot of their more recent designs like Eutyrannus, Sinosauropteryx, Jhalopterus, I just named feather species, but like they have designs that are a lot more like, or even stuff like Werosaurus, like their designs are like a little more unique and interesting. Minmi as well, like having the iridescent pattern, like that's kind of cool. It's interesting. And Barbardactylus just kind of has hands, and it looks kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a stickler for it. But yeah, I end up putting it in a restaurant because I'm not trying to go for like a high score or anything. I'm just making things look cool for the sake of looking cool. Yeah, so I'm not gonna like configure the modules or anything in this. I just want it to look nice. So yeah, this will end up being a Bronto burger because of course you gotta have a Bronto burger. But yeah, I'm about to get in the real time. I cut out the part where I put the dinosaurs in because it was just me waiting around for the airdrops to come in. But yeah, in a second we'll go to the real time, and you'll see me look through all the species and talk about them, talk about my opinions on them, and yeah, I'll see you then. Welcome back to the real-time part. We're coming back just in time for this helicopter to come down. I actually did start recording this, but I was getting such bad frames that I had to change it up. So if the screen looks a little darker, that's because I turned on this thing to help with frames. You might also hear the laptops. I'm running on a laptop right now that, I'm going to be honest, I may or may not have dropped on its head one too many times, basically. So this laptop's seen better days. Hopefully, I'm working right now, so hopefully I can get enough money to get a new one so that I can make much better content for you guys to enjoy. But for now, we saw all this. Nothing's really changed here, except that I added this other monorail track, which will come down over here to this area, where I'm thinking we're going to get a lagoon, a lot of hotels, maybe some small herbivores, think Minmi, Malacephalae. Maybe I was thinking maybe some longer neck sauropods like maybe Dreadnoughtus or Mamenchosaurus, and then also maybe some smaller carnivores like Segosaurus or the likes of that. Over here we get to the actual beginning of the park where we have the visitor center. You'll probably see it in the speed build, I tried to build or actually I'll probably talk about that in a moment. But yeah, I tried to build like maybe a small carnivore exhibit, like Compy exhibit. It ended up not working out really well, so I scrapped it because you couldn't really see the visitor center, which I want that classic, actually. I wanted that classic, like, oh, you can see the visitor center when you walk in. That's also a really cool view. This area over here is to the aviary hatchery. This area is like the facilities. You can really see how cool this looks from down here. It's cool. I'm actually going to go back up so that we can move a little faster. The water feature, nothing special. This will lead to more areas, but for now we have what I'm calling the Jurassic Jungle, or maybe the Morrison Marsh. I don't know. I'd say Jurassic Jungle maybe makes more sense. I don't know. I like alliteration, if you can tell. This is the Bronto Burger, a classic among park builders. You gotta have a Bronto Burger. Cover that in a second. This is a remote viewing gallery for over there. some viewing things, bathroom. But let's start with the aviary. So in the aviary, we have two species. First is Dimorphodon. The idea was to have two Jurassic species, but as I finish this up, I realized J. might be early Cretaceous. Editing gauge will put that in, tell you what's real and what's not. After doing some more research, I figured out that J. is indeed from the mid to late Jurassic, from the Bathonian to the Oxfordian period, as it lived in the Tiaojishan Formation. Sorry if I said that wrong, but it's basically in China. It's the places where you'd find species like Kungpengopterus, Darwinopterus, Anchiornis, Epidexipteryx, all those little Yishi, all those little like arboreal species. But it is possible that it was also in the Sinuiju Formation. Sorry if I said that wrong again, which is in Korea. And if J. is from there, then that would also put it in the early Cretaceous. But so far, it's not really known if that is J. yet. It's still debated. So I guess the jury's still out on early Cretaceous, but definitely mid to late Jurassic. Because I don't want to spread misinformation, so wait until we start talking about them. But for now, we'll just talk about Dimorphodon. Now, Dimorphodon is a small Dimorphodon, unsurprisingly. I think it's Dimorphodon. Editing gauge, put up the family as well. But Dimorphodon is a species of, I'm pretty sure, early to mid-Jurassic pterosaur. Pterosaurs appeared in the late Triassic, which was, if you see I'll probably put up a picture of geologic time as well. The Mesozoic, which is the time when the dinosaurs evolved and reigned, ranged from the Triassic, the first stage, which was easily the weirdest and probably my favorite, then the Jurassic, which was when the dinosaurs started to get really big. You started to get all these weird species. You started to get to your recognizable ones, your Stegosaurus, your Brachiosaurus, Allosaurus, all that sort of stuff. And then after the Jurassic, you get to the Cretaceous, where the Cretaceous had all your very charismatic species, your T-Rex, Triceratops, Spinosaurus, Titanosaurs, like Argentinosaurus. Just gonna fly and land, aren't you? The exact same spot, man. You ain't interesting. Let's see. You guys doing anything else interesting? Oh, you're flying. Oh, this is J. Okay, we'll wait for you. Yeah, so you're sleeping. Ugh. You're sleeping as well. Okay. Jesus. You guys are so lame. Are you sleeping? It's not even nighttime. All right. Well, Dimorphodon are recognizable for their little diamond-shaped tail tip and this boxy skull, which Jurassic World obviously exemplified by making it look horrifying, basically just like a T-Rex with wings, which it was not in real life. There are obviously many inaccuracies with this design, because it's a Jurassic World design. They aren't exactly going for realism, but I chose the 2022 Dominion variant because it has at least some filamentous covering in the form of pycnofibers, which I at least like. I appreciate it. Also, this behavior, fishing, probably not very common in Dimorphodon. Most pterosaurs in this game were probably not fishers. Well, species like Pteranodon, Marodactylus, Trepaegnathus, they were all likely fishers. Saerodactylus, stuff like that. Species like Taphahara, Dimorphodon, Phanatus Draken, Quetzalcoatlus. You're just invisible now. Nice. Those sort of species, they were probably feeding on different prey items, and yeah, Dimorphodon is one of those. Dimorphodon would have been largely living on the ground, hunting small reptiles, amphibians, early mammals, even small dinosaurs or pterosaurs if given the chance. And then, are you going to land in the exact same spot to drink? I'm just going to wait for this guy to finish drinking. But yeah, they would have been on the ground mainly, and then only would have taken off to maybe get up and drink at the same spot. Nice. They would have occasionally flown to... Watch him go back and do the exact same thing again. Oh, never mind. He's going to go fish. But yeah, these Dimorphodon would have been like I said, largely on the ground, only ever flying to escape predators or to get a higher up perch, or maybe while chasing after smaller prey. But yeah, these guys were not efficient flyers like you're seeing here. Hopefully, in Jurassic World Evolution 3, they spend most of their time on the ground and only fly occasionally. But I don't really have high hopes for that. I chose this coloration in the gene editor, not on purpose or anything, but I kind of like it. The model browns, it's nice. I'm going to be putting up some paleo art, I probably already did, of some more realistic Dimorphodon depictions, or at least Dimorphodon relatives, so you can see what they most likely would have looked like, or maybe not most likely, but at least more likely. Also, their feet are a little weird in this. The feet of the pterosaurs in Jurassic World are strange, especially these. They would not have been very strong at all. If we have a Pteranodon episode, I'll talk about that. But yeah, not very big feet. Next, Jhalopterus. This absolute cutie and possibly one of my favorite designs in the game. Definitely one of my favorites. I'm not sure if my absolute favorite, but one of my favorites. Oh man, they're so cute and so just interesting. The big eyes, that's characteristic of Anurognathids. The ear tufts are such a nice touch, making them almost owl-like. Their wings are, well, a little, actually, I think these wings are relatively fine. Yeah, maybe a little long, but I think they're fine. And the patterning is just beautiful with these eye spots on the back. Something that, well, speculative, makes total sense for an animal like this, which would have been absolutely tiny and at the mercy of many other species, including other pterosaurs and even birds. As I think, once I released Jhalopterus, I thought about it a little more. I think Jhalopterus was a Cretaceous species. I really like Anurognathids. They're so weird, so cute. They're a pretty basal pterosaur and are mainly known from representatives in the Jurassic, species like Anurognathids itself. Oh, it's so cute. Mesodactylus, which is the one that lived in the Morrison Formation, so that's the one you would have seen in Walking with Dinosaurs. But yeah, the fuzzy covering is beautiful. The little tuft on the tail, also beautiful. There's nothing wrong with Jhalopterus in this game. It is genuinely, like, perfect. Except for the fact that I can't walk, but that's a Jurassic World Evolution 3 thing. Hopefully it doesn't get cut. If it gets cut, I'm actually going to cry on camera, and I'll send it to the developers, because I need this guy to stay in. Some facts about Anurognathids, besides the fact that they're basal pterosaurs. They evolved in the Jurassic, as far as we know, and died off in the early Cretaceous, and they were most common during the Jurassic. The namesake of the clade, Anurognathids itself, was found in a Lagerstätte formation, which is, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, but basically it's a formation where it preserves basically everything. If you ever see those fossils, that one fossil of Archaeopteryx where its head is bent back, it's in that classic death posture with its wings out and its legs and its tail, and you can see all the feathers and bones fully articulated, which articulation in skeletons is when the bones are all sort of together where they should be. So yeah, the fully articulated Anurognathids was actually found at the same site as Archaeopteryx, which, if I'm not mistaken, was the Solheim Formation. I'll put up the name and a picture of it, as well as the fossil of the original Anurognathids, so you can see that these guys truly were super compact, super tiny. The fact that we have a fossil of such a small animal so perfectly intact is genuinely fascinating. The fossils that I find are almost entirely giant bones that are just clumped up in, or not giant, but they came from a giant animal like Edmontosaurus or Triceratops, and they're all clumped up in random bits, and broken down and tumbled and all this stuff, so, yeah. But yeah, I think it's time we go to our main enclosure. So as we pop over here, we get to see the Morrison Marsh, I guess, I don't know, the Jurassic Jungle. We'll start off with Dryosaurus. So Dryosaurus is a small, you're sleeping. Dryosaurus is a small Ornithian dinosaur. Well, small is, I was talking about this in the other recording that I made that I deleted. Small is a relative term with all non-avian dinosaurs, because, well, Dryosaurus here is clearly small, and amongst other non-avian dinosaurs, it was small. Compared to modern day animals, Dryosaurus would have been a giant. This animal would have been bigger than a deer. Here, show right here with this individual. I also chose two colorations. This one has the red around the eye and the more white markings. This one has sort of a darker, almost conifer-like pattern. You can think of these as male, female, with this one probably being female, as the choosier sex tends to be less colorful. But if they're a palandrous species where females mate with multiple males, the female would likely be more brightly colored. I'll edit engage show a picture of a red phalarope. I think that's the species. They're a species of bird that are palandrous, where the brighter colored and larger specimens are actually female, and the blander, less brightly, or blander and smaller specimens are males, because the males are being more choosy with who they mate with. So yeah, just thought that was interesting. But yeah, over here you can see that even though Dryosaurus is small, its hip height is easily like chest height with these people. It's big. These animals are large. For the Jurassic World design itself, or the JWE design, I think it's fine. I like the beak. It looks a little fleshy, but I like it. I like the patterning. I like when small ornithischians, small ornithischians have this sort of like fawn or young tapir patterning. It really sells that sort of like small cursorial species, or like gazelle patterning. I think those work really well. So yeah, I really like those. Where is... Here's Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus, a classic. Everyone knows Stegosaurus. It's a household name. I really like the pattern design for the Lost World variant, which, of course, I'm gonna choose the Lost World variant. You won't catch me alive ever choosing the Jurassic World variant, because the Jurassic World variant has lips instead of a beak, which is just nasty. Ooh, a little socialization. The socializations make them so lifelike. Oh, I love it. But yeah, Stegosaurs are known. The Stegosauridae family, part of the Thyreophorans, making their closest relatives the Ankylosaurids, or Ankylosauroids. Sorry, because there's Ankylosauridae and Nodosauridae. Or is it Nodosaur? I don't know. But yeah, Stegosaurus with these big plates, very characteristic. These big 4 spikes on their tails are called thagomizers, after Thag, who was a caveman in a like Sunday morning cartoon. Hi. Oh, they're so cute. But yeah, I really like. Oh, that twig snap was crisp. I like Stegosaurs. They're awesome. Stegosaurus isn't particularly my favorite. My favorite Stegosaurids are easily the long-necked ones, Dacentrurus, Miragaia, and then some of the weird ones, Gigantospinosaurus, the like, which we'll see in a second. Oh, that Brachiosaurus sound is it's perfect. It's so perfect. Next up is Diplodocus, because Time of Titans was my favorite Walking with Dinosaurs episode, so whenever I make any Morrison Formation exhibit or Jurassic-themed area, I always need to include Diplodocus. The patterning is actually pretty bland on this guy. I wish it was a little more vibrant. You can like kind of see where there is patterning, but the base skin sort of hides it. Thank you, Stegosaur. But yeah, I like Diplodocus a lot. Diplodocoids are some of my favorite sauropods. Probably above Titanosaurs. Titanosaurs are awesome, but Diplodocoids are just so weird, because Diplodocoids include species like Diplodocus, obviously, but then you get species like the Dicraeosaurids, which are your Amargasaurus, Bajadasaurus, Dicraeosaurus, and Brachytracholopin, which I'll put paleo art up of. But they're just weird. They're so strange. Obviously, this isn't going for realism, but this sort of sunken-in, shrink-wrapped eyes, definitely wouldn't see that. The nostrils. That actually is an interesting vocalization, because it just closed its mouth and vocalized, which we actually know is something that at least some species of dinosaur did. We have a very intact specimen of Panachosaurus, which is a species of nodosaurid and chylosauroid, I'm pretty sure. I'll put that up if that's right or not. But that species we found the syrinx of that animal, which is the sound-producing vocalization organ in birds, which was also present in dinosaurs, which, unsurprisingly, it was sort of a mix between a crocodile's and a bird's. But that would have meant that these animals were likely capable of vocalizing um, when their mouths were closed, which is just so weird, in my opinion, and it makes them so cool. But yeah, love Diplodocus. Then we go to Brachiosaurus, the classic. I kind of fucked up with this coloration. It's a little too like bright brown. Um, Looks a little bit like a walking shit, but I love Brachiosaurus. This design, well, obviously very clearly Brachiosaurus is more modeled after the African Giraffatitan, which was I'm pretty sure the name is Brachiosaurid, but basically Brachiosaurus, Giraffatitan, Camarasaurus, those related species, I think Sauroposeidon as well, were all within the group Macronaria, which means big nose, because they had these large areas up here, which would have been capable of, or large nasal openings, nasal fenestrae. Fenestrae are those openings within the skull. Um, Sauropods like Macronarians especially had them really big compared to something like a Diplodocoid or a Titanosaurian. It's very noticeable. Brachiosaurus itself was likely the tallest, if one of the tallest, if not the tallest, sauropods of the Morrison. The Morrison formation is unique in that it had a shit ton of sauropods compared to other regions, and we're not exactly sure why, because it seems like there would have been a lot of niche overlap, which, if you remember from any biology classes, niche overlap is not really something you want unless there's a specific difference between the niches. For example, something like Allosaurus and Torvosaurus could have likely lived together because Allosaurus might have eaten more Ornithians and Torvosaurus might have eaten more sauropods. That's entirely a guess. There's Allosaurus nesting sites that have bones of dead sauropods, so maybe that's the other way around. I don't know. Maybe a better example is like tigers and or no, I'll go lions and hyenas, where hyenas are more opportunistic and are better at hunting down prey that doesn't do well with endurance, whereas lions are less opportunistic and are better at hunting prey that they can chase down quickly, as well as larger prey, something like that. So yeah, there was likely niche overlap between these guys, especially Brachiosaurus likely feeding from the tops of trees, while Diplodocus likely fed much lower. The neck of Diplodocus in real life would have maybe arced a bit more up, so this is maybe a little less accurate, but they would have been feeding on much lower vegetation than other similarly sized sauropods. And finally, we have the last species I've made, Gigant Spinosaurus. I wanted this to sort of be like the rare species of the enclosure. Some zoo enclosures are like that, where it's like, oh, they're like, or like aquariums especially, they'll be like, oh, we have these animals, but then like, oh, there's one of these, you gotta go find it. So this is that you gotta go find it species, Gigant Spinosaurus. Though not from the Morrison Formation, I'm pretty sure from the, I'm gonna butcher the name, Shimao Formation. Would have lived with Shunosaurus or Mamenchosaurus. I'll put up which assemblage zone they're from, either Shunosaurus or Mamenchosaurus. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Shunosaurus, which is the sauropod that was relatively small with that club tail. But yeah, these would have been a late Jurassic species, very noticeable for these giant shoulder spikes, which give them their name, giant spine lizard. These guys are just tiny in comparison to the Brachiosaurus. That is so cool. Oh my god. Yeah, I like Gigant Spinosaurus. It's probably one of my favorite stegosaurs, outside of Werosaurus, Dacentrurus, and Miragaia, because Werosaurus is my favorite stegosaurid. Miragaia and Dacentrurus I just love because they have long necks. But yeah, so yeah, this is what I've made so far. The big Jurassic open enclosure and the Jurassic aviary. I plan on adding another enclosure either here or here, which will be, or maybe multiple enclosures for next episode, which will be, I'm thinking, Ceratosaurus and Allosaurus to round out that Jurassic environment. I might include Compies as well, a little environment. I might even do Compies like in between an enclosure, like maybe like right here or something. Just a little thing for Compies. But yeah. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Have a good day. Have a good week. And yeah, see y'all.